Hi everyone, Brady Joker here, and welcome to the Halloween movies ranked. The series sucks balls. I don't like it. I was pretty miserable watching through all 13 of these films, but I did it. I did it in about a week and a half, and oh my god, it was not fun. But I'm just going to try to get this over with as quick as I can, because I need this to release tomorrow on Halloween. So yeah, let's just get started with number 13. Okay, so coming in at the number 13 spot, I have Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Oh my god, this movie is awful. I gave it a half star. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It is actually horrendous. I put it as my fourth least favorite movie I've ever seen in my entire life. This movie is atrocious. It's boring. The kills are not good. The Michael mask is absolutely stupid. Spoilers across this. Because there's a lot of things that I need to talk about that are kind of spoiling. So, but really, do you really care if I spoil Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers? No, you don't. It completely retcons the ending of Halloween 4 with the intense ending that Jamie is going to be the next killer, and then bang, it's a dream, and now she's this mute who doesn't talk, and it's awful. God, this movie is so boring. It is one of the most boring movies I've ever watched. If there was a movie in the series that I would never ever want to watch again, it's this one. I just now realized I don't really think I've talked in depth about a movie that I've hated as much as this. I mean, I talked about a Serbian film, which I cite as the worst movie I've ever seen. But this one was the most boring movie I have ever seen, and I never want to watch it again. Alrighty, coming in at number 12, I have Halloween Resurrection. Again, kind of like Halloween 5, it completely retcons the ending of the last movie. And yeah, the ending of H2O was effective in my eyes, but they just couldn't help themselves. They had to bring it back. And then they kill off Jamie Lee Curtis in the first 15 minutes, which is super dumb. And then you get this little found footage rest of the movie where it's shaky cam for 50% of the time, and the actors are horrendous. And then there's Busta Rhymes, who was actually the only good part about this movie, in my opinion, to be honest. I really enjoyed Busta Rhymes in this movie. I know a lot of people hated him, but I thought he was just a really fun addition. He was funny, man. I liked it. The kung fu was goofy. It just fit the tone of the movie of how absolutely stupid this movie is. But, I mean, the movie is a pile of garbage. I mean, everyone knows it. Everyone hates this movie. I didn't hate it, I just know it's a bad movie. Alright, up at number 11, we have last year's Halloween Ends. What were they even thinking with this movie, man? What were you guys doing? Why? Now look, Halloween Kills isn't much higher up on this list, but they did set up a pretty solid finale. You could have had something good here, but instead you spend the majority of the runtime with this dork who becomes a cool guy as soon as he loses his glasses and messes up his hair a little bit. It's stupid. I thought the character of Corey, if he wasn't this Michael Myers clone, I think Corey could have been an interesting look into a character's psyche, but no, this character was just dumb. Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't even that great as a character in this one. Michael has 15 minutes of screen time, if that. The movie just sucks. The ending is pretty effective, though. I did like the end. But God, this movie just blew. I'm sorry. The more and more I sit with this movie, the more and more I'm just like, what a disrespectful end to this series. I don't know. I hated it. And cracking the top 10, we have Halloween Kills. This came out in 2021. If you want to watch a Halloween movie that is basically just Friday the 13th, this is what you get. You get very little story, very subdued and not written characters in the slightest, and then just a bunch of gory kills by a masked killer who is overpowered and cannot die. I mean, literally Michael should have been dead 3 times in this movie, but it's okay, it's whatever. I mean, that's kind of the case with this whole series. Michael is basically an unkillable force of evil, I think. Is that kind of what this whole series, I don't even know, man. I mean, yeah, the kills are entertaining in this movie, and some of the returning characters are cool. I kind of liked Cameron's character arc. I liked the return of Tommy Doyle, I guess, but The whole evil dies tonight is stupid. Jamie Lee Curtis is literally strained to the hospital for the majority of this movie, and it's just really dumb. The survival of Hawkins from Halloween 2018 into this one is absolutely ridiculous and absurd. I did not enjoy this movie. It's pretty boring, other than the kills, but it's just dumb. I don't enjoy this movie. Alright, so I don't really like Halloween 4, but I feel like on rewatch this one could go up maybe 1 or 2 spots, but just on my first watch I found this to be a bit of a snooze fest. It was definitely a lot better than the other ones I've talked about, and probably a little bit over Halloween Kills to be honest, but there's a lot of things I don't like about this movie. I don't really like any of the characters except like Rachel and Jamie. All the other ones are pretty forgettable. I do like Brady just because his name is Brady, and I found it really funny, especially when he gets killed. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Michael's mask looks pretty dumb in this one. The kills, I don't even remember. These movies are all the same. I cannot remember if the kills were good in this movie or not. I really can't. I think some of them were pretty good. Some of them were pretty off-screen and bad. I genuinely don't remember. This movie is just forgettable in my eyes. Loomis and Michael should have just stayed dead. They should have just stuck with the anthologies. I'll talk about it more when we get to Halloween 3, which is much later up on this list, but whatever. Alright, so this movie, Curse of Michael Myers, is the one that I probably remember the least about, even though I watched it like 2 weeks ago. This was just the one that I just kind of like didn't really pay attention to as much as some of the other ones. This movie was just boring in my eyes. It just didn't really do much for me. However, the atmosphere of the movie was really interesting. And I liked the different directions that the movie took, which gave it bonus points. The directions that this movie took it wasn't incredible. It wasn't like Halloween 2 Rob Zombies. But like, I appreciated the effort in doing something different, even though it didn't pan out. The Michael mask looks pretty good. Kills were pretty good. I don't really know that much about this. I genuinely don't remember that much about the movie. It kind of just blends in with the others in the Thorn trilogy. The Thorn trilogy is just so bad, man. Like, it's just the most forgettable section of the series, in my opinion, where each movie just feels the exact same. The whole Thorn character is dumb, in my opinion. Even though, like I said, I do appreciate the effort that they try to do something different, and they just kind of failed. Yeah, the Rob Zombie remake is not very good. Although it's kind of mid in my eyes at this point. We're breaching over into the mid movies at this point, to where they're not like awful, but they're not very good either. It's just kind of like, yeah. Now, the first 30 minutes of this thing I honestly hated. Rob Zombie's dialogue is just so bad and so atrocious. And I get that's kind of like, you want to see how like disgusting Michael's young life is, but dude, some of these lines are just so annoying. Middle section of the movie's pretty good, and then the last act is actually like solid. Like, it's basically just a carbon copy of the original, but then the chase scene between Michael and Laurie is so long. They are actually playing cat and mouse for like 25 minutes. It's so long. Loomis is played pretty well. I actually kind of like Loomis in this one. And spoiler alert, next one too. But I don't know. This movie is fine. I would rewatch it, to be honest. It's not a horrible movie. It's not good. But yeah, it's where Rob Zombie's remake is. Alrighty, coming in at number 6, I have Halloween H2O. Or H20, for you weirdos out there. But no, it's H2O. No one says H20. I like this movie. It's one of the better ones. That we're getting into the ones that are a bit better than mid. I mean, this one still is in the mid range, but it's not bad by any means. I like Laurie Strode in this one. It might actually be one of my favorite portrayals of Laurie. I think Jamie Lee Curtis does really well here. Michael's mask is one of the worst elements of the movie. In fact, I don't really like Michael in this movie. He's kind of just so, I don't know, he doesn't really feel like Michael. The ending is great if you don't look at Halloween Resurrection. I like the ending. I think it's effective. It concludes the story really well, but then, like I said, Resurrection kind of ruins that. I did like some of the side characters, too. I enjoyed the son. I think he was an interesting one, even though he kind of disappears. And then, yeah, it's just a fine movie. It's not as, it's fine. Kills are fine. It's a good, nice little movie. Alrighty, so Halloween 2. This is the original sequel, 1981, and it's good. It's a good movie. We're getting into the good movies. These are the movies that I would consider, they're decent, they're good, whatever. Even though this movie is kind of just like a clone of the original, except Michael's now in a hospital and he's a lot more robot-y, and the mask looks real dumb in this one. I know it's the original mask and the actor just had a different face shape and it messed up the look of the mask, but it just looks really stupid in this one. Again, the ending is really well to this movie. I really enjoyed the ending. I think it fits it well, and it should have been the ending of the series, and then maybe picked up with the David Gordon Green, but whatever. The ending is really good. I like it. Laurie is kind of just more annoying in this one. She's just kind of like screaming and crying throughout the whole movie. Kills are really good. I enjoyed a lot of the kills in this one. The side characters are a lot better than some of the other ones. They were more entertaining. And all in all, I was less bored in this one than I was with the others, which is why it's at number 5 and not some of the other ones. Because I know a lot of people actually don't like this one and would put it like lower than like Halloween 4 and Curse, but like, no. I enjoyed this one more than the others. And yeah, that's where it's fallen. Okay, and at number 4, I have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Don't hate me yet. Please just let me hear me out on why I actually liked this movie. This movie, I enjoyed because it did something different. Rob Zombie was able to break off of John Carpenter and just break and branch away and do his own thing. And I think it actually paid off. I enjoyed his vision in this movie. Easily one of the most gruesome and more violent and brutal Michaels. I know like Halloween Kills is brutal, but like this is just the most aggressive Michael where I actually was like, dang, this dude is scary. And I enjoyed the whole like family thing. It was an interesting thing that I actually thought panned out pretty well. I also like the different looks into people's mentals on tragedy and trauma. Laurie and Loomis are the two examples here where it's like Laurie has this very different perspective of the trauma, and then Loomis took that trauma from the first movie and turned it into clout, and he wanted to just gain attention from it, as people do in nowadays. So it was obviously Loomis isn't really supposed to be likable in this movie, and that's why I like him in this movie. He's not supposed to be a likable character. I thought they did Loomis really well. Took him in a different direction that I think actually panned out, in my opinion. Now, the movie is still not good. The dialogue is still Rob Zombie. There's still just classic slasher things that I don't like. But all in all, I actually liked this one a lot more than the others. Yeah, it's a good movie. This is the one that I wish I could put at number 1, but I just can't. Yep. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch is number 3. This is the movie that I wish I could put at number 1, but I don't have it in me to do so. If there was one of the Halloweens that I wish I could just rewatch endlessly, it's this one. I don't want to call this one my favorite because I always rag on people for not putting like placements in their favorites, but this is the movie that made me understand why, because this might actually be my favorite Halloween movie, but I just cannot put it any higher on this list because the two above it are definitely better movies, and I do enjoy them a lot. In fact, I might enjoy them like on level, but this movie is just so bad, it's good. I cannot put it any higher than this. It's a guilty pleasure, if you will. If you don't know by now, Halloween 3 is the Halloween movie that has nothing to do with Michael Myers. He isn't mentioned, he's not in it, that's it. Instead, it's about this evil corporation who makes masks, and then on Halloween, when they watch this stupid, tacky commercial, it kills them, melts their heads, spews out bugs out of their heads to kill the parents. And I love it. It is so bizarre and so hilarious and so bad that it's amazing. It's one of those few movies where I actually do think that it pulls off that so bad it's good. And if you guys don't know, Halloween 2, the original, was supposed to be the end of the series, or at least the Michael Myers series. What John Carpenter and Deborah Hill originally wanted for the Halloween series was for it to be a different movie each time with a different plot, different narratives, so it would be like an anthology series. And so when they did the first one, everyone wanted and loved Michael Myers. So they're like, all right, one sequel, and then we're done with Michael Myers. So they killed him off with Loomis in the explosion, and then they made this movie. And everyone complained, so they brought him back in the fourth, and now we have the rest. I wish they stuck with the anthologies, to be honest, because it's such an interesting concept, and I really, really like it. And I love this movie. I'm telling you, if this movie wasn't named Halloween and was just Season of the Witch, it would be regarded as a classic because I love this movie. 2 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 2 more days to Halloween, Silver Shamrock. I love it. Yeah, I feel like I'm in a very, like, I don't know why everyone rags on Halloween 2018, but I love this movie. These 2 movies, like, I actually give, like, I give both of these next 2 movies, you obviously know what number 1 is, but I give them both 4.5 out of 5s, so, yeah. And Halloween 2018 is a great movie, and I don't know why everyone says it's either just good or just completely garbage, because I love this one. It's brutal, the kills are great, the characters are great, Laurie Strode's back, her family, the characters are actually interesting. And the dialogue's pretty good. The comedy's hit or miss. It's actually pretty scary at times. It's a good movie that sets up well for the next one, even though I still think it should have ended with this one. I don't think they needed to make Halloween Kills or Ends at all. They should have just left Michael burning in the building, and then that's it. That's the end of the series. That's it. But alas, we have the David Gordon Green trilogy now. The other 2 in the series is actually garbage, but it's okay. It's whatever. I like this movie a lot. I do. And to absolutely no one's surprise, the original Halloween is coming in at number 1, as you just saw. I absolutely love this movie. It's a classic among classics. Seeing a lot of people saying it's overrated. It's not. You just don't understand the movie. Think about this. 1978... slasher isn't really a genre of horror at this point. When you think of slashers up to this point, what do you have? Or at least popular ones. You have Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas. And that's about it as far as... That's all I can think of. And then this movie came out and redefined horror. People always say this movie isn't scary. I actually find it to be pretty tense. And I like... Michael isn't really scary. He's more just unsettling in this movie. When he like leers in the shadows, I'm just like, that is creepy. And that's a lot to do with The Mask, which is obviously the best in the whole series. The Mask is just so perfect in this one. And without it, let's take The Mask and replace it with like Halloween 5's Mask. The movie wouldn't be the same. In fact, I don't know if it would have garnered as much attention as it did because The Mask just looks so phenomenal in this one. Jamie Lee Curtis gets her like breakout role here. She's great. Just like I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but side characters are super fun to watch, super interesting, great dialogue. It's honestly just a great movie. I love it. I'll always be a fan. I've watched it almost every Halloween since I first saw it. I watched it in theaters last year, which was a great time. And I just think this is a horror classic from beginning to end, and I love it so much. And that is my Halloween series ranked. What horror series do you guys want me to do next? I can do Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream. But I wanted to do Halloween just because, it's Halloween. Felt kind of fitting, I guess. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe if you want. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night. And stay safe out there this Halloween night. I will not be. Just kidding. So yep, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.